What is up? Showing up the King, here to bring you guys a special weekly edition of Naruto chapter 513. I'm sorry, Bleach Manga chapter 513 and Naruto chapter 607. Now, the reason that I'm doing this week is because things have been a little bit crazy for me, not been having a lot of time to do everything I wanted to do. And also, this chapter of Bleach was very quick. And I didn't want to do a separate video just to talk about how quick the chapter was. It was a really solid chapter, but it was just so quick that, I decided to combine both my review just this week for Bleach chapter 513 and Naruto Manga chapter 607. I'm going to start with Bleach and then I'll move on to Naruto. So let's jump into this. Alright, so I'm going to give you the recap first and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this chapter. Chapter starts off with Byakuya talking to himself, and he's essentially just, saying his final words. Last chapter, as we all know, he asked Ichgo to protect Soul Society, and Ichgo left without saying a word. But again, Byakuya simply said, "That's exactly how you are, but I know you heard me, you'll take care of it." And then Byakuya's sword starts to shatter, and we all know that when in Bleach, the only time your sword shatters is when the bond between Shinigami and Zanpakuto is broken and one dies, the sword shatters. That's how it works. So it is to be assumed that Byakuya is dead. Now again, me personally, last week I thought it was a 60-40 chance that he would live. Now more about a 50-50 chance that he'll live. Again, I'm still not convinced that Byakuya is dead. I still think there's somehow he'll come back as some sort of hybrid, maybe a hollow or something. I don't think he's going to be completely dead or that character is completely finished with the series. We know that this is going to be one of the longest arcs. I don't think Byakuya will be killed off in that way, meaning that he was killed by Avnot and killed by his own Zanpakuto and pretty much humiliated. I don't see him being taken out that easily. But again, that's just my opinion. We'll have to wait and see what they do. Then the scene shifts back to Ichgo, who has already confronted Uebach, and like I told you guys last week, I didn't think it was going to be an all-out battle, but I was wrong, but I was right. I did say they would have some sort of clash, but it won't be a full climactic battle as it was with Yamamoto, and it wasn't. Essentially, Ichgo is enraged, and he throws out a Getsuga Tensho at Buckbeard and Uebach and his subordinate. And essentially what we learn this chapter is quite a few things, actually. Ichgo throws the Getsuga Tensho. Uebach pretty much just sidesteps it or walks right through it and grabs Ichgo. Ichigo sidesteps and, falls to the ground. And it looks to me as if Uebach slams Ichgo to the ground and pierces him through the neck with his sword. Now, after this point, it looks like the subordinate is nervous, like, what the hell are you doing? It looks like Uebach does not want Ichgo to be killed. Looks like he's probably one of those war potentials. So they say, we'll heal him and take him back to the base so he can become one of us. Then the smoke clears and you notice that Ichgo was not run through with the sword. It looks like his veins were throbbing, and it looks like he has a blunt vein. Now, this has a lot of revelations. As we all know, the blunt veins are what the Quincy's use as their primary defense. Protects them from heat, most damage. It's what they use. And unless you're super strong, you really can't get through it. So the fact that Ichgo has a blunt vein means that he's part Quincy. That's just to be expected off the break. Now, what's the big revelation with that? How the hell does Ichgo have Quincy? Well, we do know there's a lot about Ichigo's past that has not been revealed, and we did learn from Kubo that we would learn a lot about Ichigo's past in this arc, and I do believe that they're starting to slowly unravel what's going on. Now, my opinion on what I think is happening is quite simple. I think that Ichigo's dad was a Shinigami, and I think Ichigo's mom was a Quincy. And I think that Ichigo's mom must have lost her Quincy abilities at some point after Ichigo's birth, and then she was eventually killed the way she was normally killed. But I think she passed her Quincy traits down to Ichigo, so Ichigo is half Quincy, half Shinigami, and that's probably why he was so different than any other Shinigami that was out there. I think it's as plain and simple as that. And I think him being locked in that cage, or him being so heavily damaged, awakened his blunt vein, and that's essentially what happened. I don't think, again, in these shows it's pretty, and as I said, shows in these mangas, the storylines can kind of shift, but the overall arcing story, I mean, again, there's no other way he can become a Quincy. I mean, either you're born to Quincy or you're not born to Quincy. So we already established that his dad is a Soul Reaper. So the only other way he could possibly be a Quincy is if his dad was one. So, I mean, again, it's shocking. It was definitely a solid chapter. Looks like Ichigo is enraged, and it'll be really interesting to see where they go here next. Now I'm going to move on to Naruto chapter 607. I want to stay on this discussion a little bit longer. This chapter was pretty much wrapped up the flashback segment of Obito's story. It begins with Obito talking with Pain's group for the first time, trying to convince them to join his cause, the whole Moon's Eye plan. And essentially, you know, they just all disagreed. They said it sounds too good to be true. And essentially, Madara / Obito tells them, I'll be here every day, same time. When you do change your mind, I'll be here. Leaves and walks off. Now, number one, I'll make an observation. We all know when Nagato decided to go back and talk to Obito was probably after the guy with the red hair, can't remember his name right now, once he got killed, and then by Hanzo, and not Hanzo, but the salamander guy, and once he first awoken the Ghetto Mazo. I think after that whole situation happened, it's probably when he went back to go talk to Obito and then decided to join Akatsuki. And then now we know that how he was trained to fully utilize the Edo Tensei, I mean the Rinnegan, and pretty much that just wrapped up that story right there. Now we also show that, again, they kind of condensed like 4 weeks of flashbacks into this one chapter. But again, it didn't make any sense to me. Again, there's still huge plot holes. And again, I'm not going to make too many excuses. I mean, not excuses. I'm not going to make too many arguments about plot holes right now, because I have a theory, and I'll give you guys my theory in a minute. Essentially, then they skip forward to Minato getting ready to battle the nine-tailed fox for the first time. And it is now assumed also that we've confirmed that the man in the mask was Obito, and he was the one who fought Minato. But now they've also kind of cleared up exactly how he was able to fight Minato toe-to-toe, because it's not just Obito who was fighting Minato. The suit, I guess the Zetsu shell that his body is encased in, is also aiding him in battle. And also, he's probably, like I said, he awoken his Mangekyo Sharingan at such a young age that he's probably been training those, you know, those years that have passed between the time of the war and then when Minato and Kushina, you know, gave birth to Naruto. So he had been using his abilities quite often. So it's very possible he had mastered his Mangekyo Sharingan already. So it's feasible that he could go toe to toe with Minato, having unwoken his Mangekyo Sharingan at such a young age. As a matter of fact, he's probably the youngest Uchiha of all time to awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan. So, I mean, that should say a lot right there. Now, we also see him spying on Kakashi. It looks like around that time when Naruto was giving birth, Kakashi was at Ren's grave, and it was just talking to her about, you know, Minato, you know, becoming a dad, and him saying he has to go tell Obito. Now on to the gripes that I kind of had with the chapter, because I said, well, let me go ahead and finish the recap, and then I'll tell you what my thoughts were on this chapter. Essentially, you know, they piecemeal everything together up until the point where the flashbacks end, and it's apparently during the flashbacks the battle had been continuing. Looks like Naruto is fighting Madara, and it looks like Guy is fighting Madara with Naruto, and it looks like Obito is fighting Kakashi one-on-one. Now, there's a few problems with that too, but then I'll give you my thoughts on all of this in a few. Looks like Guy's pretty hurt. I hope he doesn't try to unlock the last gate and kill himself, but it looks like he's pretty damaged, but he looks like he's still kind of spry, but that's Guy. It looks like Madara is not having as easy of a time with Naruto as he thought he would, so it looks like he's decided to go all out, and he summons a wood dragon, which is what Hashirama used to seal the Nine-Tails Kyuubi away the first time. And Naruto was just like, I'm the Hokage, I'm the fourth Hokage's son, I'm not going to be beaten that easily. And, it was kind of awesome. And, Naruto is now back into his nine-tailed giant form and is fighting the wood dragon with God Sensei versus Madara, while Kakashi is fighting Obito. And it looks like in their case, they're just done talking. And that's kind of how the chapter ends. Now, like I said, overall, I thought it was an okay chapter. I didn't think it was as great as Bleach. But I think because just the way the story is progressing, I'm not too... I shouldn't say I'm not too excited. It's just weird. There are so many questions that are still need to be answered. And I'm going to give you guys a theory on why I think the way that I think. Alright. So number one, in that flashback, we didn't find out why Kakashi killed Rin. We didn't figure that out. But there's a reason for that. And again, remember, listen to what I'm about to tell you, because I promise you this is what they're going to reveal. While Kakashi and Obito fight, they'll also be having conversations. And during the bit of conversation, Kakashi will inevitably say, Rin wouldn't have wanted you to do blah, 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 and she died for you, or she was this. Basically, essentially, the reason they didn't tell us why Kakashi killed Rin is because they're waiting to reveal it during the battle with Obito. And essentially, when Obito finally figures out what really happened that day, then he'll come to this great revelation that, oh my God, what did I do? What have I done? I'm so sorry, Kakashi. We'll fight Madara together. Something to that effect will happen. Just trust me on it. Now, one issue I do have, though, is Obito's getting ready to fight Kakashi. And the issue I have with that, Kakashi has been fighting non-stop for days. I mean, before he joined the battle with Naruto, he had already been fighting the Seven Swordsman Miss Ninja, plus using his Sharingan consistently. How the fuck does he have anywhere near the amount of chakra to go against Obito right now? It's impossible. He's already used the Mangekyo Sharingan more than 3 times, so he shouldn't possibly have any real chakra to do anything right now. So it'll be really interesting to see how this fight turns out. Also, this is just a little tidbit. There was a scene way back in the day when Kasami was talking to Obito / Madara, and Obito took off his mask, and Kasami recognized him. So my question is, how the fuck did Kasami know who Obito was? Just a question, if anyone can tell me, that'll be awesome. But again, like I said, I gotta hope that these guys know what they're doing. They're gonna reveal exactly what needs to be revealed, when it needs to be revealed. But again, as it stands right now, I'm like, we're winding down. This battle is winding down, and I felt like I don't want to get all these answers just thrown at me in like a 1 or 2 chapter thing. They should have been revealing these things slowly throughout these past couple of chapters. But again, that's just my opinion. Now it's time for you guys to give me yours. Let me know what you guys thought about the Bleach chapter this week. And definitely let me know what you thought about the Naruto. Again, this is going to be a one-time only thing. Well, in situations like this, when we get a really short chapter, maybe I'll do it again. But again, like I said, this is just for right now going to be a one-time thing. Showing off the king, the one and only. You guys have a fantastic day.